Welcome to Peculiar Politics, Senate Midterm Preview. Clearly a lot is at stake in the race for the Senate. This video won't examine the guaranteed safe seats like Patrick Leahy of Vermont, who is running for his 9th term and 53 years in the Senate. Rather, we'll take a look at some of the most competitive races and where each party will allocate its resources attempting to add and defend seats. Republicans will undoubtedly look to play up Democrats' desire to eliminate the filibuster, hoping this will drive people to try and put a check on Democrat power. And Democrats will in turn blame Republicans for Biden agenda failures while looking to buck an ugly midterm trend, including Obama-Biden's record 63-seat loss in 2010. Number 5. Wisconsin. In 2016, incumbent Senator Ron Johnson said he intended to only serve 2 terms in the Senate. If this holds true, it would turn the seat into an ultra-competitive race and real pickup opportunity for the Democrats. Currently, there are a bevy of declared candidates on the Democrat side, with Mandela Barnes, the lieutenant governor of Wisconsin, looking to be the favorite. Sarah Godlewski, the state's treasurer, also looks to be a formidable candidate. Barnes is an extremely liberal politician, having recently received the endorsement of Elizabeth Warren. Time will tell if the normally moderate Wisconsin will respond well to someone so liberal representing them on a national level, especially with the possibility of the seat being the deciding factor in control of the chamber and Biden's agenda. Number 4. New Hampshire. As Republicans grow more excited about Governor Chris Sununu possibly running for Senate, Democrats are finding more reasons to argue that electing a Republican at the federal level in New Hampshire isn't the same as electing one to serve in Concord. They're largely turning to abortion to make that case, highlighting a budget the governor signed that included abortion restrictions. Despite the state trending blue at the federal level, Republicans are convinced that first-term Senator Hassan is highly vulnerable, as her approval rating is at 44% and trending down. Compare this to Sununu's 64% approval rating. Both sides admit this race isn't likely to look like 2020, when Senator Jeanne Shaheen won re-election by nearly 16 points. Sununu keeps pushing back his timeline for making a decision about running, so for now, Hassan has the race largely to herself. Even if the governor doesn't run, however, Hassan could have a strong challenger in former Senator Kellyanne, whom the Democrat beat by just over 1,000 votes in 2016. Governor Sununu is undoubtedly the best option for Republicans, and if he ultimately decides to run, it could put Democrats' hopes of retaining power in the Senate in serious peril. Number 3. North Carolina. The Tar Heel state sees a crowded field on both sides. Trump endorsed in the GOP primary to replace retiring Senator Richard Burr back in June, throwing his support behind Representative Ted Budd. But former Governor Pat McCrory and former Representative Mark Walker aren't backing down. Meanwhile, the political arm of the Conservative Club for Growth, which has stood by Budd since helping him emerge from a 17-way House primary in 2016, is taking to the airwaves to attack McCrory. They argue he cannot win because he lost re-election in 2016 when Trump won the state. Walker has tried to make a similar argument about McCrory, while both he and McCrory have piled on Budd. Trump carried the Tar Heel state by just over a point in 2020, making this potentially competitive terrain even if Republicans start with the early advantage. State Senator Jeff Jackson, who's been in the race since January 2021, had raised the most money on the Democratic side at the end of the second quarter. But former state Supreme Court Chief Justice Sherry Beasley, who joined the race in late April, raised $1.3 million during the second quarter. She has the backing of Higher Heights PAC, which works to elect progressive black women, and the political arm of the Congressional Black Caucus. This reflects the enthusiasm for a non-white male candidate helping turn out minority voters in a non-presidential year, especially in some of the rural areas where Republicans have continued to hold an advantage. Number 2. Pennsylvania. With Republican Patrick Toomey retiring, the Pennsylvania Senate race became one of the most contentious. Endorsed by Donald Trump and Senator Hawley of Missouri, Army veteran Sean Parnell looks to be the clear favorite for the nomination in the Republican primary. In the 2020 congressional race, Parnell lost to his possible Democrat Senate foe Connor Lamb by 2 percentage points. However, considering Lamb had won the seat by 13 points in 2018, it could spell serious trouble for Democrats in a statewide race that will be far less forgiving than the historically deep blue 17th congressional district. On the Democrat side, Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman has a significant lead in polling, However, expect Conor Lamb to close this gap and make this an extremely competitive primary. Polling suggests this is going to be a tight race no matter which Democrat ultimately wins the nomination, with Fetterman faring slightly better than Lamb in a hypothetical matchup against Parnell. Republicans will look to nationalize this race, highlighting the serious consequences that could take place should this seat flip control. With the Senate's filibuster at the top of the list, Fetterman told CNN in a recent interview about his strong belief in eliminating the filibuster, saying, "Stop apologizing for the space we take up as a party and ram some stuff through and get it done." That's just what Republicans want to hear as they look to attack him as too extreme for this purple state. Still, Democrats have the edge in a state that Biden carried, but midterms are often more difficult to navigate for the president's party. Number 1. Georgia. Former Georgia football star Herschel Walker launched his Senate campaign in late August, which was quickly followed by an unsurprising Trump endorsement. The former president is a longtime friend of Walker's, and the two will likely tour the state together, holding rallies in the lead-up to the election. Agriculture Commissioner Gary Black, who's tried to attack Walker, is still running for the GOP nomination, as are a handful of others. But as Senators Lindsey Graham, Steve Daines, Mitch McConnell, and others who were previously wary of a Walker candidacy continue to endorse, Walker looks to have the nomination to himself. Raphael Warnock, who's running for a full 6-year term, is glad to have the Democratic field to himself as he raises money for what's sure to be a hotly competitive general election race. After winning the presidential contest here, as well as both Senate runoffs that flip the balance of the chamber, Democrats are hopeful that a competitive governor's race, and especially a potential Stacey Abrams governor candidacy, will help juice turnout in a non-presidential election year. With celebrity involved, and the importance of this seat being the deciding factor on which party controls the chamber, it is likely to be the most covered by the media. You can expect to see plenty of high-profile people out on the trail for each candidate, including Joe Biden and Donald Trump. This undoubtedly will lead to each of them trading insults with each other, bringing more attention to the race and making this race more of a Biden versus Trump take-two in Georgia. There it is, the top 5 competitive Senate races in 2022. Agree or disagree? Think others will be competitive? Let me know in the comments. There are likely to be controversies, scandals, and major events that change the dynamic of the races covered, as well as others that would seemingly be safe. Making these, again, only early predictions. Hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you'd like to see similar videos. And leave a comment if you'd like to see a video on some of the most competitive House races in 2022.